Televu nkwaniriza nnyo munange yakatwegatako ku STV era nga njagala kulamusaako nti wasuzeeyo otya nno byonna gy'osinzira okuba ng'olaba STV. Olunaku olwaleero wabba lwakubiri ennaku z'omwezi 24 omwezi ogw'Ekumi omwaka 2020. Amaanyi nze Simon Chris Makanga era nga olunaku bwe tuba tuyingiddewo ne puroguramu yo enganzi STV The Sharp Talk n'omukukunavu Joseph Tamale Mirundi mutabani wa Mole n'Amatovu ne Yowana
Mirundi.
Yes.
Yowana Mirundi.
Yowana Mirundi.
Nabagamba nti mwagala
nga nze bamuyita Mirundi.
Kyatawange Yowana Mirundi.
Lwaki bamina tugitumye Mirundi?
Bonna
iba Mirundi.
Anti successful name.
Bonna
batuma abaana baabwe batuma ki? Once I stress Mirundi, why? I don't have a Christian name.
Ate Joseph.
Joseph is a nickname. Natoka mu P6, P7. Nibaga nti okola ebigezo, you must have a Christian name.
Nibakuwalya Joseph.
Nerwanira mu church nekubafaze kiko n'enfuluma.
Koza alikuwa myaka emeka.
I apologize, I came late purposely. I had a night prayer session in my church.
Church cheyo nawo saba.
I'm the chief priest the saba mu church.
Ogambe ne abenkumye saba.
I have my church. I was born 120 miles from Kampala. I went for consultations.
Mzee sikutegedde mwao. What prayer session? Night prayer session.
This is going to be a very different program. And I want to borrow 10 minutes to make a personal statement.
Please go on.
Decision making in politics is a whole chapter. When do you make a decision?
In politics.
A decision is determined by what you want to achieve. All decisions must be purposeful. A decision must put in a picture the past and the future. A decision must be determined by your past and the future. So when I make a decision, I consider all of these factors. Decision yange eri ku bintu bisatu. I went through 3 things this week. One of the rioters.
Okay.
Rioters, although I have many vehicles, I don't drive. I went to the driving school, learned driving, but I don't drive.
Why?
But on that day of the rioters, I don't know what possessed me. I drove myself from Kampala to my home.
120 kilometers?
Yes. Without security. And nobody knew. Naye what surprised me, bano abaana baali balina communication system.
Abaali bekalakazi.
Bw'oyita ku road block eno yaabwe communicating. My vehicle was never attacked. Ebya Museveni byennyini nga buli wetuuka bagakuba ba mafias. This is a lesson to the mafias. Nawulidde nanga ng'agamba when was the police caught unaware? And it's not your responsibility, it's the responsibility of intelligence. Buganda riot zabakwata punch down.
Wano mu Kampala abantu abajangako n'enjala eza yero.
Nkugambye nga bw'oyitawo oyina okukuba emizira gya Bobi Wine.
Alaba basimuuzanga ebipande bya Bobi Wine.
They had a communication network. In some places, bajjanga ne twekubya ebifaananyi. This is a biwenanga. Njamuga nti I deleted them. Nentuuka ewaffe. The most dreaded place was Nyendo. But because of their communication, bali bamaze okubabuulira nti emmotoka Mirundi yagirimu, amayinja gayimirira.
So it was a well-calculated demonstration all over the country.
Bano bwe baba basaaga, bali abaana omanyi mbagamba, nayogera ku Bobi Wine. Naye mbaga nti Bobi Wine, a government, the presidency is like a beautiful woman who works in a bar. Men of substitute and sense fear her until the border man who is aggressive floor her. Tebakitegeera. Bw'olabayo abalina amagezi mutwe abavuganya Museveni. obwa president bulinga mukazi mulungi akola mu bbaala abasajja
abalina amagezi bamudduka
bw'omukwana toddamu nakubeerawo ye wa bodaboda mukwata mu kiwato very aggressive this is a movement
alabamudduka bagamba
this is what I wrote about Bobi Wine. The president is a beautiful woman
in a
bar. Men of sense read her. And they tell me,
ali aggressive.
Yes.
Naje namutwala.
Yes. Tyson yakuba abantu bonna. Yamukuba yali anino. Yamukwata aweddemu. Brazil yatwala World Cup emirundi emeka. Bagikuba kati. So the time is important.
Tutandike?
No. Ekyokubiri, yesterday I was stuck in a jam. I was in my Mercedes Benz. Naye aba boda nga bagala kugisindika. Many government officials are in hiding. Otukubira ba mafia. Otukubira ba mafia. Is another verdict from the public. They had to hide all government vehicles. Which means if you hide a government vehicle, you are hiding yourself. What are you fearing?
That's a good observation.
Atemba gamba. When a baby kicks a door open in the presence of a notorious village thief, he will not have come with a hammer. I think it is enough. If people like a Bobi Wine can shake the country, you will see your people. Anti-batigidi. Kinyenyezekaako.
Nenga kinyezekaako ng'abantu anamu bakamumeka bamaze okufa.
Yes. Throughout the country. Bali abaana bwe babadde bakola. Era police bayina zino sente ze bawa Smaila district officers. The police must be equipped. Kubanga enfuna daka yani district bayina kabanga libiri. Kakati bana abaana bocha wano na wano. You can follow into an ambush. Kitegeeza kabanga lizina gendera mu groups. In future, say them call zibba. A single kabanga comes, clears the way. But in a begari, Amaduka Magali, I found one shop open in Inyendo. Yariamucha and Katunda spare.
One Magali.
Yes, Matongo. Baja never clearing and never gained. To all the presence, Kayula had this spread the police, so these people can force you if you don't have money power. Never done groups in the Kabanga in the Vajikuba. Anti Jim, Nikiri and Gekuba, again they were Boniva down the Babios. And these were new tires.
Jabayocha.
Emipiri Jabadimipia.
Jabayisa Makubo.
Nabagamba. Tikita Tabubamu Quatanti in a piece of Yagadafi I laughed. Nimbaganti, if you find use the condoms. Kumufadisha kwa mwana ukumuto kwa mwana we myaka ina yabazi kosa kumama
hapana
kitegeza there is an intruder you are lucky ti omukazi yabulidwa condom wazitereka ngoli agenzi who bought these new tires must be a rich man. New tires to ban.
So you literally ogelinga agamba nti riot eno yabadde facilitated.
Yes. Kakati ekyokubiri the same week I was poisoned. I used expensive drugs, and they are plotting to use chair poison. I know them.
You were poisoned?
I was
that
poisoned.
Is serious.
I survived on expensive drugs.
How did you get poisoned?
5 times. That's not a story. They can do anything. If somebody can behead a kid, Basibeka Dark, these are not human beings. These were bodyguards of Satan. They defected to us. When we are dealing with the humans, these are not human beings. Kakati, I survived on expensive drugs. Naye, waliwo a senior police officer. Namuwereza message. Mugamba nti I've run out of drugs. We cannot allow you to die. They sent 10 million.
For your drugs?
We cannot allow you to do what?
To die. A police officer.
We cannot allow you to do what?
To die.
You are doing a very commendable job to this government. This is a verdict from a senior police officer who enforces law and order, and the same verdict from
who serves the government.
The so-called hooligans.
It means a lot.
The third one, I saw my reading tormentors being humbled. I was watching them on Sunday. Didn't I tell you? Nti mbadde ku byuma byange nendaba meeting. Omusajja
omwali abakyala babiri.
Abakyala. Omusajja bamubba $20 million from his accounts abroad because he has limitations in travel. When I saw my tormentators being humbled,
it was
and
victory.
we are forced to write handwritten apologies for stealing this man.
It was victory for yourself.
Yes, I danced. I went back in my small local church. I have a big church in the village, and I have a small. When you come to my home, they will tell you, "I'm church."
Osawa.
Nesawa, the neighbors.
Nitubaza katonda chali mulamu wa surviving obutwa.
The Uganda have a proverb that if you follow somebody, you don't bite him. No, this is your freedom. This is your victory.
To you.
To me. Mbalabyeko nendaba omusajja omugaggafu ge ng'abagamba you can even hire hitmen babatte ku ssente zange. I have copies of their handwritten apologies where they have surrendered their buildings. Nanyenye omutwe ne kajuga abantu. Let anybody undermine any of my programs on TV and radio. You will say mad man in Kamwenge. I'm capable of doing it.
Wow. Mzaitame katandikirawo.
Kakati kambagambe mu bamafia balaba. The pain that this rich man has gone through is what I've gone through for 8 years.
Wow.
Akitegedde ti human being reacted the same. Kakati nkola resolution zange. One, they are talking about negotiations, no negotiations. A vanquished cannot dictate terms.
You can't negotiate.
They brought the Chinese recently, they brought the Canadians to jam my machines, they failed. They brought the Israelis, failed. They hired military intelligence agents to locate my machines, they failed. These are different machines. The report, I have a report from military intelligence agents. This man is connected to a satellite, a Russian satellite, which sends the images to Moscow and is a recipient. For 8 years they failed to get the machines. A victory, another victory against them. No negotiations. They are talking, you see the professor. Professor said, we underestimated this man.
Professor ali mukugula
Mwari. Professor alimba mafia bagita fellowship. Robbery is robbery, whatever name you give it. Abaganda bakugandi bamusumagiziza robbery. Bamuyigiriza Kampala robbery. So the title of an organization does not change. This is robbery. And robbery in government institutions, they don't spare anything. The Italian mafias developed Italy to the 70s. These ones are crippling the country. So one, the professor said, this is the political career. Yes, this is diseased. To you know kuzika, no kusiga. Okusiga means germination. Okuzika kitegeeza dead. So what the professor is saying is that my political career is dead. Compensate me. They have agreed on compensation. That we should sit with him. No. A vanquished cannot dictate terms. Calculate my compensation adequately. Why I never work in this government again. As he says that my career is deceased, like Jesus, it will resurrect in another government. In the future.
Maybe that will by the way.
So,
your
compensation, I directed them where they should put the compensation. It is not a buy-off. Because a buy-off means I would stop, I would surrender my machines to them, that I should be, they even offered me money to give the president false information.
Really?
Because they had captured all of the intelligence. How can I go and buy expired drugs to my sick father? From high, the mafia gang contains who is who in government. Very powerful people. At one time they resorted to Zoom. My mother body contains 1 million people. Any of those 1 million people who makes a meeting, it reports. It captures it automatically.
Really?
Yes. And I never surrender it to anybody because it was not bought using government money. Ask the president.
That's a big story to investigate.
Magoria resolutions.
How you got it.
Compensate me adequately because we shall never work together. Negotiations are completely out.
They know where to put the compensation.
They know where to put the compensation. Adequately. How much money have they used in dollars?
And you're not willing to surrender.
Upon. You see, public trust is like a virginity. You lose it once. Why do you think that this man who was abusing Museveni everywhere is now moving with a pistol? It means you are no longer useful to the president because the president was interested. Anybody would be. How can you? I'm a general with 50,000 rebels. You surrender alone? It means the war will continue. You leave the air occupies the space. Kakati chichimu. They must compensate me unconditionally. 2. They must stop stealing. Let them transform, as the president advises them, transform your mafia gang into a think tank. But at times, transforming is not easy. It was done by Italian Communist Party.
How possible can it be done?
Gorbachev tried to reform the Communist Party, failed. The Soviet Union collapsed. But in Italy, the largest Communist Party was in Italy. When communism collapsed, the Italian communists named their party progressive and retained power.
Wow. Kale.
Kakati. 2. Release all of the victims because their method is once they know that there will be money in Rea, Umeme, other institutions, they hire Nakadem. They unleash their mercenary media. They admit. They use their media. But you did not have a convincing reason why you are fighting me. That's why, and more powerful and popular than all your newspapers combined. Why? I'm innocent. Can they give me a reason why they were attacking me? This is Jakaboy. He's one of the people. The man is humiliated. Even press easy on his head. Vomit my man. If I want to destroy that Kaboy, let him try to undermine any of my programs. I hear they are trying to intimidate in Boga. Let that Kaboy continue his practice of intimidating people. I will release a creep, 2 creeps, which will destroy him completely. So release victims like a nursery, apologize to people like Rukwago, you humiliated to get money. They humiliated Rukwago, put him using Aklo.
Is she one of them?
They had captured all state institutions. So that's the second one. Finally, I want to tell you the professor is a professor of psychology.
Are they watching?
Yes. They follow me.
Okay.
Like a grasshoppers follow light.
Now you are going.
Like a locust follow light.
That's how they follow you?
Yes.
Okay.
They follow me. Because now they're on my mercy. All of the technology is failed. I rape them like a naked woman. So
that's too much.
I rape them like a naked woman.
That's too much.
Don't struggle. Finally, professor of psychology njagala mumubuulire. Nafuna incident nga tuyali baana bato nawe wakola kuzomba. Tutta obunyonyi. As if there was no me.
Butida.
Twakozesanga mipiira gyaki. Mipiira gy'eggaali emikadde. Kakati nga twakolanga butida. Kati bwe twasala mu mupiira ne tulekako ekitundu bwe kiti nga kiwanvu mu ddiiro. I think oba twabulira maama ng'ajja ne tudduka. Kakati when our mother came, twakozesanga tadova. We had no light at that time. Buganda yafiirwa leero line yali erina kuyita Masaka egende Kasese ne bagigamba mbu ab'Emmengo ne bagamba buli weyita ettaka liba infertile. Amasanyalaze ne bagaleetangayo Mengo had invested in UEB naye nga gali mu senta zaabwe zokka ne balimba Abaganda mu amasanyalaze bwe gabeera mu nnyumba abasajja batulizigwa Abaganda ne bagana amasanyalaze nga bo bagenda at independence omukolo ogwali Mengo dinner amasanyalaze gaavaako. Yes, at independence ab'Emmengo baakostinga oyo omulangira w'Ekenti naye amasanyalaze gaavaako bwe gaddako gasanga babba ennyama abantu bateeka ennyama mu makooti kakati maama waffe yali alowooza nti musota nayita omusajja bamuyitanga Minani twakula naye yabeeranga nnyo mu tawuni era eventually when he became old he was knocked by speeding lorry naye ne bakwata ne basasula sente bamuziika bulungi nnyo 3 million. Kakati mama waffe agamba Minani kuba omusota after 30 minutes namubuuza niye omusota gwokuba ogutafa kiki namugamba nti maama nkuba kipiira. Kakati the professor of psychology should understand and others who are watching me. All of the time they were hitting emirundi a human being. I'm not an ordinary human being.
You're something different.
I'm something different. Anybody who tries to fight me thinking that I'm ordinary human makes mistakes. This is Bakuba Chipira. This is a very powerful outfit. The Americans got a lot of information on Zoom. Because Zoom at night you could hear all the powerful people. They thought by developing Zoom that they usually the professor celebrated. Even when the Chinese came, the last ones who cheated them, we say, this time we shall put missile under our feet.
Let me ask you, Ankubuza Chibuzo Mzeitamale, in regards to missile, who do you report to?
Nowhere.
And how relevant is your information?
Tebakankana kati bagambi bagenda mu YouTube. Aba YouTube ne babagamba mugende mufune court order. This is an American company. Ne bagenda bagifuna. Ne babagamba aba YouTube. Bayine million ya dollar. The only person who can order us to retrieve this information is Mirundi himself. Came back empty-handed.
Wow.
Memori bali be meeting you are lamenting. Atukubye, yes, you used the book and you used an extended media. Ate bakoze ensobi ono omugagga bwe bamubye Dubai Kuala Lumpur Philippines Manila kakati ate bagagga banna abalina sente basabye bank statements sai every account yavuddeko bank statement egirina mulinyeyo mulabe mulinyeyo mulabe mujjeko that's the demand kakati nkugamba nti they fight you cannot fight me. I'm not an ordinary person. The ordinary person you see on me, this is a human flesh.
But inside you're somebody.
I'm somebody else. Somebody wondered, this man is not one of the richest people. He does not own property. We have all of this money at our disposal.
What do you want?
How have you failed to you are like a Minani who was hitting HP. I'm not a human being. Ran it from professor of psychology. Singati chibadde tradition yange nti sobola basinkana. We can only meet in a mass grave. We can only meet in a police cell, a prison cell. We can only meet on the flight, which I cannot forego. We can only meet on a road, at a road below.